Music bed. Music bed. Music bed. Music bed. Music bed. Music bed. Music bed.
machine.
We're live. Awesome. It is Monday. It is 1 o'clock. Welcome to the Monday Message. I am so excited to chat with the team again this week. Well, what I want to talk about this week is the seemingly weird relationship that momentum has in making us lose our focus. That's what I want to explore a little bit today, because it's interesting to see how we work so hard to get momentum and then we lose it. And we lose momentum when we lose our focus. So why is there this seemingly inverse relationship between focus and momentum? Well, this week on the Monday Message, I'm going to get to the bottom of it. I'm going to share some practical stuff that will absolutely help you keep that focus so that the momentum keeps going. Because at the end of the day, winning is about keeping momentum longer than we lose it. The more time we have momentum, the more we're going to win. It's just that simple. You can't stop momentum. It is a force to be reckoned with. So we're going to get into that in a little bit. Let's get right into our numbers, though, for the week. For the week was all producers over 1,000. We're going to start with Priscilla Hillary Jeffers, Joanna Castillo, Christian Vernet, Jonastasia Maldonado, Amanda Waller, Brittany Martin, Calderon Green, Deb Pavlik, Thomas Payne, Sabrina Floyd, Cody Poirier, Adam and Cindy Burge,
Yamika Ramirez, Sean Cuff, Austin Heater, Brandon and Ashley Beal, Mark Hutchison, Rogers and Kim Straughter, Michaela Jenkins, Ryan and Camille Lewis, David Kearney, Deidre Hayes. I turned in 3 apps last week. Donnell Vaughn, I'm telling you, that's a guy that's going to be someone to be reckoned with as we move forward as a team. I'm just telling you, Des Moines is on the map. Let's look at our top 5 producers from last week. Number 5 would be Evan Patzer with $4,062.36. Number 4 would be Aaron Wilson. And I'm telling you, Aaron Wilson would be another name I'll be writing down. She is going to be killing this thing. I mean, she's getting after it. She's hungry. She's aggressive. We love it. $7,614.43. My buddy, Mr. Jeremico Edwards, coming in with 10 applications, $8,175 in premium. Our number 2 producer in the country last year, Rachel Midtune, in second place last week, $11,971.50. And number 1, Mr. Dave Fleming, I'm going to have him on the call soon. He has got crazy momentum as well. $12,622.20 across 11 applications. Way to go, Dave. All right, let's look at top 5 paychecks for the week. Number 5 would be Brandon and Ashley Beal, depositing last week alone $4,617.55. Number 4 paycheck last week, Dave Fleming, $4,664.53 deposited last week alone. Number 3, Jeremico Edwards, last week deposited $5,575.48. Number 2 paycheck last week, Mike Guerra, $5,641.53. And number 1 for the week that was in deposits alone last week, Mark Hutchison, $8,532.23. I'm telling you, if you want to get on this paycheck leaderboard, I would go back through the TWC, the product call, and the activity call last week. The annuities and how to find them and how those products work. When you get your mind wrapped around that and you get out where you're just a seeking annuity, you're an annuity seeking machine, you're going to see opportunities no one else sees. And that's where you're going to pop some massive, massive paychecks. Eric Belair posted one of his deposits last week on the agency manager WhatsApp. Just one of his deposits last week was $26,000 and change from finding annuities. I'm telling you that it's a serious opportunity you've got. If you're not currently writing annuities, you are missing out. I'm telling you, it's a massive opportunity there. All right, next leaderboard. Month to date issue paid. As this goes through last Wednesday's data, we got Lau Ram Maiwa, we got Rachel Midtune, Jennifer Midgley, number 8, Rachel Bowman, number 7, number 6, Aaron Wilson. I'm currently sitting at the 5th spot. Just out ahead of me is Mr. Hutchison. Mr. Fleming, David Fleming, $7,408.92 issue paid through last Wednesday. Brandon and Ashley Beal in the number 2 spot and holding that number 1 spot month to date issue paid. Jeremico Edwards, $11,094.18 in issue paid production last week. This month so far. Well, basically a week, because I'm telling you, the through last Wednesday is basically the first week of the month. All right, year to date issue paid. Look at how it's shaking out. Nick Greco in the 10 spot. Aaron Wilson, I'm telling you, new people are winning faster. If you have new people that aren't winning, let's get that fixed. There's no reason for your new people not to be winning like the new people you see on these leaderboards. Way to go, Aaron. Evan Patzer coming in the 8th spot. Tom Payne in the 7th spot. Again, another new name. Seth and Adina Decker, Mimi Ramiro in the 5th spot. I'm sitting currently in the 4th spot. Another new name, Madeline Hawthorne, number 3 year to date with us. Number 2, Jeremico Edwards, another new name, Jennifer Midgley, number 1 year to date in the whole country for us. Way to go, Jennifer. Let's look at recruiting last week. Look at all the fast tracks last week. Kyrell Thorne, Jordan Porter, Rachel Hatley. That's another name. Write that name down. That's a team coming up on the Beal team that's going to be a force to be reckoned with. I promise you. Mercedes Pena, Carlos Brown, Ryan and Camille Lewis, Noel Wilson, Brandon and Ashley Beal, and Lane Hamilton, all with direct fast tracks last week, all with direct new agent contracts last week. You got Donnell Vaughn, Noel Wilson, Brandon and Ashley Beal, Willem Stallones, Matthew Hackett, and Earl Harden, all with new agent direct contracts last week. That the reason we call it the Freedom Leaderboard is because we're free. Recruiting is how you get free. We say sell to eat, recruit to live. I'm just telling you. All right. That's our leaderboards for this week. First, what I want to do is get my guest, Mr. Adam Burge, on. He has got all kinds of momentum. He has been stacking up what is going to be a record month for him in production. One of the reasons that he is having a record month of production is because he set a bigger goal. I know that sounds simplistic. I know that sounds it's too easy. It's too simple for that to work. It's got to be more complicated. I'm telling you, it's not. When you set a bigger goal, you find levels of performance that you didn't think you had before. So coming into this year, it's like, I'm going to write 20 applications a week. That's what he decided to do coming out of NAC. I'm going to write 20 applications a week. When you set a stretch goal like that, you're forced to, one, do the things that you've been putting off doing, right? Because we all got that list, right? I talk about annuities. I've been meaning to get into annuity. I'm just telling you, when you set a stretch goal, it gets you to do those things. And two, when you set a stretch goal, it forces you to get creative. It's no coincidence that Adam sets this big goal and then all of a sudden is finding opportunities to sell where he didn't before. Your brain gets creative when you give it a big project. That's the problem with most people. The reason most people perform at such a low level, they never give their brain anything worth working on. Their brain's just sitting up there twiddling their thumbs going, whoop, whoop, okay. So the goal this week is just make it to the weekend. Okay. You're killing me. I mean, I'd love to go to work. I'm dying to go to work, but you're not giving me anything to do. I'm just telling you, the brain, you give it something to do, the brain will find, that's where hunches come from. People say, I had a hunch. You had a hunch because you gave your brain something to do. Your brain was seeking the information. So I'm telling you, I want you to hear some of the numbers that he's put in. We know next week's summit is going to be massive for him. This year is going to be massive for him. He was number 3 in the country with us last year as a new agent in his first full calendar year. But Adam, you've been texting back and forth with some of the numbers you've been writing over the last 10 days, man. Share what's going on. Share what you're figuring out. Share some maybe subtle changes you made, maybe some massive changes you made. But let's give them some practical things they can write down and go put to use today.
Okay, I can do that. So I took what I did last year and I thought about it over the end of December, beginning of January. And I thought, okay, these are the things that were working. These are the things that weren't working as well. And those things that weren't working as well, I set them aside and stopped doing them. And then I set a goal for myself of 20 apps a week, because I figured that it might be hard to get to that goal, but if I set that as a higher goal, maybe I would eventually get there. And I did. So far this month, and I think I'm missing a few apps, I've submitted 28,000 in annual premium already this month. And I want to apologize to you and everyone for not submitting my numbers as well as I should, so that way you could see what it is I'm doing. I've just been so busy doing other things. But that's really been key for me is trying to find out what works, what doesn't, and setting a goal and sticking with it. And I wasn't really sure I'd be able to do 20 apps a week, to be honest with you, but I thought, well, let's set a high goal and see what happens. And so the key is following through. People who are interested, leads, referrals, following through, making it my determination. I'm going to start at a reasonable hour in the morning. I'm going to stick with it. I'm not going to get up out of my chair and go do other things. I'm going to focus on writing my apps, the business that is there. And that has started building momentum. The first week or two of January was a little on the slower side than I wanted it to be, but then the second week and the third week spilled into the next one. And before you knew it, now I'm at that point where to date, especially this calendar month, I've already written 28,000 in annual premium.
Sorry, Adam, we were fixing something in the studio here. Am I live yet? Okay, cool. We were fixing something in the studio while you were talking. Dude, that's awesome. 28,000 so far this month. I mean, it's just, we just now hit double digits in the month as far as the days of the month, and we're already at 28,000 submitted this month. So you talked about, you stopped doing stuff that wasn't working. You started doing some stuff that is clearly working. You're working referrals. You're digging to find other opportunities. If someone is out there right now, Adam, and maybe you could just give them something here, and they're going, God, 20 apps a week, that sounds great, but I could never do that. I just don't think I could do it. Well, maybe I could. Like, they're, you know what I'm talking about? They're right there. They know that they want to set a big crazy goal, but there's just got a little bit of pullback towards, I don't know. What would you say to someone like that? Like, think about how you talked to yourself about 30 days ago.
I would say one thing is read the book, Go for No. If you haven't read that book, read that book. And it was such a simple thing, and it's not a long book, it's really short, but it changed my perspective on how I go about searching for success. I was going for yes, instead I needed to be going for no. And so that helped out a lot.
I love, go ahead.
Yeah. And so, the second thing was I do a lot of ERSs. I try my hardest to do ERSs. And I'll be honest with you, there are sometimes I forget, sometimes I'm tired, sometimes I just get distracted, or there's a lot going on and I have to kind of cut the call short or the appointment short. But I try to make sure that happens less and less and less, just making it my automatic go-to. Because I've learned something that's kind of interesting in this business, that if you are awkward, if you are acting awkward, if you're feeling awkward, your client is going to pick up on that. And they're going to feel awkward. But if you just ask questions as if these are, why wouldn't you answer this question? What's wrong with this question? If you just ask questions in a way that are just, you ask them all the time and people always answer them, they will always answer them. They'll tell you exactly what it is that you need to know. I don't get into personal business, but there are things I need to know in order to help the client and be successful myself. And so I ask for referrals, and I get a lot of referrals. Last week of the 13, the week before that, of the 13 I wrote that 1 week, a few of them were referrals that I wouldn't have had, and each of them are $275 a month premiums that I would not have gotten had I not asked for referrals using the ERS system. So those two things I'd say were the big help.
I love it. If you haven't read Go for No, it's 76 pages. You could read it tonight. I mean, you could read it on a lunch break. It's 76 pages. It's a parable about no. And let me tell you something about no. No costs you nothing. No costs you nothing because you didn't have it anyway. You know what I'm saying? Like when I asked Holly to go out, I wasn't already going out with her. So if she'd have said no, I didn't lose anything. People like, I'm scared of rejection. I can't take it. It's like, you didn't have it anyways. Who cares? It was like, you didn't have that sale anyway, so who cares? You didn't have that annuity anyway, so who cares? No costs nothing, but yes gives you everything. You can't get to yes without going through no. And think about it like this. Everything you want in life is just a certain number of no's away. And I'm talking issue paying $400,000 this year. It's just a certain number of no's away. It's all it is. You just got to get enough no's to write 400,000. Going board member is just a number of no's away. I'm going partner at integrity. I've still got to get some more no's. I've got to collect more no's to get there. So I'm trying to get to the no's as fast as I can. I'm telling you, read that book. It'll get your mind right. Adam, thanks for sharing, dude. I appreciate you. I appreciate your example. And dude, what an inspiration to new people. I'm telling you, watching Adam and watching Rachel and now seeing these other new folks like Aaron Wilson coming on. Like if you're new and you're not getting what you're not getting what you hope, let's fix it. It is not hard to fix. We got new people killing it. So Adam, thank you, brother.
Thanks, pal.
All right, let's talk about this for a minute. You get momentum like Adam, 28,000 written so far in the month of February, and we are on day 13 of February. He's already written 28,000, which, by the way, can we throw the link in the chat to submit business numbers? We're going to throw a link in the chat. I just always emphasize, and this is what Adam was talking about. We don't get great data on a lot of the EAP submits. We always get it on issue paid on the back end, but on submit, most of the carriers are not great on getting that data to us in a timely fashion. So if you'll just by Thursday at 5 p.m. report your numbers on the website from Friday through that Thursday, we'll put on the leaderboard. Share, man, share it, share the encouragement. No one has ever died from too much encouragement. You know what I'm saying? It's just, when you see people winning, it gets me jacked up. It gets you jacked up. It helps me push through some of my own minutia. It'll help you push through some minutia. So if we'll throw that link in the chat, just know we don't see the EAPs. That's why the number, sometimes people will get text me like, I wrote 13,000 last week. It's like, we don't see it. The carriers aren't great at it. There's some carriers that are really good at it, and some carriers are terrible at it. So that's why we don't get it all. But if you'll tell us, we want to give you that recognition. All right, so let's talk about this for a minute. So you look at someone like Adam, 28,000 in the last 13 days. That's momentum. That is momentum. When you look at a team like Mike Guerra's team that is blowing up, he was texting back and forth with me this weekend about the crazy stuff they have going on in Houston. That's momentum. So there's this weird thing about momentum. We get momentum by focusing, and yet momentum can cause us to lose our focus. So if we get to momentum by focusing, how can momentum cause us to lose focus? Here's why. I'm going to give you 7 things. The first thing is to be aware of what's happening. Number 1, be aware of what's happening. If you have momentum, here is what is going to happen. Your body is going to pull you back to homeostasis. We want same so bad, we'll kill ourselves to get sane. We want same so bad. Changed, we don't like change. I always love when someone says they don't like change as if it's a them thing. It's like, it's a human thing, brother. We all hate change. We just got to get our minds right about it. I mean, there's no easy, it's not like, I love change. No, we're all like that. So number 1, be aware of what's happening. Your body, it's called homeostasis. Your body is trying to pull you back to the old normal, right? It was not normal for Adam previously to write 28,000 over 13 days. His body is going to tell him, this is not normal. This is not normal. This is not sane. And then his body is going to try to make him lose focus. That's why you see people come on with, tear it up. I mean, come on like a freight train. And then all of a sudden you see their numbers fall. And you go, what happened? The body won. The body won. The body's pull towards homeostasis is so strong. That's what homeostasis not only kills business momentum, it kills fitness momentum. It starts pulling you back towards the old ways of eating. I'm just telling you. So that's number 1. Know what's happening. It's homeostasis. Your body's trying to get back to the old normal. Now, here's the thing. If Adam can just outlast this, the body's eventually going to give up and go, I guess the new normal is 28,000 every 13 days. You just got to outlast it. That's why being aware of it is number 1. The most important thing is just being aware of the fact that your body is going to try and pull you back to the old normal. Now, here's it's not going to be a conscious thing where you're like, you know what? I think I'd like to go back to writing 10,000 a month, right? I think I'd like to go back to that. This 28,000 in 13 days is, I don't like this at all. There's too much money involved. There's too much cash flow. My stress level's lower. I'm having more fun. I'm helping more families. But you know what? I want to go back to the old. No, it's not a conscious thing. It's just your body pulling it back there. No different than people that sabotage their fitness momentum. They just got some fitness momentum, and then they sabotage it, because that's number 1. The body is pulling you back. So number 1 is be aware of it. Number 2 is then control your environment. I love, there's a quote that from Condoleezza Rice, very interesting person to me. Anybody that starts golfing at 60 is just interesting to me. Like the thought process of, I'm going to go do that. You know, most people when they're 60, they're so scared of anything new that they don't even want to try a different grocery store. You know what I'm saying? That's how most people are. When someone says, I'm 60, you know what? I'm going to start playing golf. That's an interesting person to me. Of course, there's a lot about her life that's interesting. But she says, I don't ever want to be known as the former anything. Meaning she knows if she's going to move forward and continue to grow as a person, she can't hold on to being former Secretary of State Condoleezza Rice. She hates that stuff. She don't want to be the former anything. And so I'm telling you, control the environment. Number two, when you have momentum, be aware of what's going to happen. Number one, homeostasis, the body's going to try and pull you back. Number two, control your environment. Only have future moving things in your environment. Wherever you're working, only have future moving things. Now, I will tell you, there is one thing I tell a lot of new agents, and this is okay. You don't have to get rid of this. I will tell new agents the first app you write, print off a copy of it and write on it with a Sharpie on it. It's always this easy, just as a reminder that you can always do it. But think about forward moving, the environment, what's around you. It's got to be stretch stuff around you. If you want a recipe for mediocrity, dial around your trophies. If you want a recipe for mediocrity, recruit around all the awards you won. Why? You're going to help. We'll go back to number one. You're going to help the body win. You're just going to get pulled back. So control the environment. Keep forward, moving stuff around you. The next goal, the next mile marker. What is it? Keep that stuff in front of you. Don't keep reminders of what you did in the past. Keep reminders of where you're going. That will help with number one. That will help give you something to strive for so that you can outlast your body, so that you can outlast that pull to homeostasis that your body is 100% going to go for. Number three, when you look at your activities, put what you're doing through the future test. Does it align? Does it align? Scrolling endlessly, looking at other people's social media, does that align with where you want to be in the future? Watching Sports Center, Get Up, the arguing one with Stephen A. Smith, I can't remember the name of it. I got to watch all those sports shows every day. Does that align with the future you? I'm going to sleep in instead of get up early, work out, and read. Does that align with the future you? Why? Because again, we're trying to beat number one. The things I'm giving you are helping us beat number one. What we've got to do is put the things we're doing through the future test. Does it align? If it doesn't align, it's got to go. It has got to go. So number one is be aware of what's happening. Number two is control your environment. Keep yourself in a future-oriented environment. Is the past helpful? Yes, the past is about as helpful as a rearview mirror. It's good for an occasional glance, but if you keep looking at it, you're going to crash. Make sense? So number one, be aware of what's happening. Number two, have that future-focused environment, create it, craft it, protect it. And then number three, analyze everything you're doing through the future test. Does it pass the future test? If it doesn't, it's got to go. Just like Adam said, right? What did Adam say? He said, I stopped doing some stuff that wasn't getting me where I wanted to go, right? That stuff didn't pass the future test. It had to go. It just absolutely had to go. Number four, this is valuable. And if you've never done this before, let tonight be the first night of the rest of your life doing this. This is one of the single most helpful things I learned at a leadership seminar that I went to. And guys, just so you know, it's a side point, but when I say you've got to get to a view from the edge, it's a $400 ticket. I've gone to $10,000 a day seminars. Why? Because I want to get better that bad. One of those seminars, I learned this. At the end of the day, this is number four, replay the day. Replay the day and ask yourself some questions. What did I do that held me back? What could I have done better? How could I have acted with more full involvement in what I'm doing? How could I have acted with better integrity? Keep in mind, some people think integrity is like, well, I have integrity. I would never forge a signature. I would never submit, I would never do anything like that. I hear you. That's part of ethics. Integrity is about the whole person, where our words, our actions, our thoughts, our deeds all line up. Because we all have integrity gaps. And I'm just telling you, we all have integrity gaps. So where could I have acted with better integrity? All right. Where could I have acted more lovingly? Where could I have been more encouraging? These are the things we think through at the end of the day. In other words, we're going back and we're replaying the day. Now, here's the cool thing. You're rewriting the day. You're rewriting the day by making this list, which goes right into number 5, visualize tomorrow. So number 4 is rewrite the day. Number 5 is visualize tomorrow. So when we figure out how we could have acted with more integrity, how we could have acted more lovingly, how we could have been more efficient, what we could have eliminated, what we could have, when we get all that out, then we play tomorrow, we play it through. Visualization is key to keeping you focused. When you're visualizing tomorrow, you're going to go to bed with your brain, your subconscious, tuned for a more successful tomorrow. Is going to absolutely be tuned for a more successful tomorrow by rewriting number 4 and then number 5, visualizing tomorrow. Because again, this is about keeping us focused long enough that we outlast number 1, that we outlast the homeostasis pull that our body's going to pull on us. All right. Number 6, get narrow. I'm telling you, the highest performers are very narrow people. You would think like, okay, someone like a Michael Jordan, he would be very interesting to talk to on a lot of subjects. I promise you, he would be very not interested in talking about a lot of subjects. He wants to talk about the few things that are important to him. Every high performer is like that. Every high performer I've ever been around. Hey, like I think about John Maxwell. I'm a big John Maxwell fan. I love his books. I've paid whatever it takes to go to his seminars in the past. I'm just telling you, it's the leadership stuff is so good. You want to talk about the weather? Don't ask John Maxwell to talk to you about the weather. He does not care about the weather. Does that make sense? He's very narrow. He's very narrow in what he's focused on. And here's why. This number 6 is again about beating homeostasis. If you've got all these major interests and things that I've got to know everything about, you are giving your body ammunition to kill your momentum. Does that make sense? Keep a very narrow list of things that you are interested in, that you are passionate about. It also will keep you from feeding your body stuff to emotionally distract you. In other words, when you're real narrow on what's important to you, you are very hard to offend and you are very hard to discourage. You don't waste a lot of money. People say, well, aren't you upset about that? Would me being upset about that change that? No, I'm going to stay focused. I'm going to keep my momentum. So number 6 is get narrow. And number 7, we'll have to work at this, especially if we've been collecting them. We got to clean up the incompletes. The incompletes. We all have the incompletes. Maybe you're going, I haven't been doing ERSs. That's an incomplete. Let's clean it up. I haven't been asking about safe money because okay, that's the incomplete. Let's clean it up. I can make a list of my contacts and start building this thing. Okay, that's an incomplete. Let's clean it up. Here's why. Number 7 also helps us beat number 1. Can you see how these are all stacked? Number 1 is being aware of the problem. And then the next 6 are all about beating the problem. Because here's what I know. If we can outlast the pulls because you're going to experience it. But once Adam outlasts this pull back to where he was before production-wise, once he outlasts that, that's going to become his new normal. So then as he goes to another level, he's going to have to fight through it again. So you're going to go through periods of time where you're going to be pulled towards homeostasis. The next 6 of the 7 points we went over today are all about how we outlast it so that we keep creating cooler and cooler and more impactful normals. I'm telling you, Holly and I, we want 2023 to be the best year in the history of your family. We are going to do that by focusing, getting momentum, and staying focused so that we continue to fuel the fire. Guys, we've got so much good stuff coming up. I'm on a jet trip with Andy first week of March. Can't wait to get out there and see you guys. We've got a view from the edge coming up. Guys, let's go. Let's get after it. Love y'all. Let's get after it.